Hey! Was I the first guy to say hello?
We never discussed who was hosting the show.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Ancient N.O.R.T.H.
Let's do this here.
No,
there you go.
We're professional. Can you tell? We're doing this live.
We're doing it live?
Welcome to the recap show for Hawkeye. With me, I have Dave, Taco, and 50. How is everybody doing today?
You know, I gotta say, Ben, season 9 of Arrow got really weird. Like, I wasn't ready for them to recast. When I heard they were recasting Stephen Amell with Jeremy Renner, I was like, I don't know. Like, he's already playing.
You wouldn't know guy. If they actually did that. You would question that. I'd be like, thank God.
First of all, okay, this is a whole different show. I have actual Arrow jackets around here somewhere.
So. I don't, but I'm not really a DC guy. But I can say, yeah, thanks. We only had 8 missed stumbles and 9 moves. You're right. Okay, I want to say hello, everybody. I'm a giant Marvel fan, and I'm glad that we're here to talk about my favorite Arrow guy. And actually, my favorite Arrow guy is a girl, and it's Kate Bishop. I actually love Kate Bishop. 50, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and I actually do have a Green Arrow cosplay. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm at work.
Is it Speedy?
No.
Okay, well, I thought it was funny.
You weren't listening. I said Green Arrow.
You might have meant like from the show.
Okay, mine's Arsenal, so like we need to work something out, and we could do like a show. We could do a whole Arrow show. But I'm excited to talk about Hawkeye. All jokes aside,
it would have been nice when the show was still, on the air. But okay.
What's fun of that, 50? What's fun of that?
Can I please start us off? I have like 100 things I want to say. And I'll only say 95 of them. Okay, well, first off, I do love Kate Bishop as a character, so I was really excited when this was introduced or announced, and I want to show off my Young Avengers #1, the first appearance of Kate Bishop. I got this out of my box. Fucking right. I've been in love with Kate Bishop since I first read Young Avengers, which I think is extremely underrated. Like when it comes to just a group, not as underrated as I can't even remember their name now. Freaking yeah. See, I can't even remember not Young Justice. I was
New Warriors.
New Warriors. No, not New. Yeah, is it New Warriors?
Yeah,
with Speedball and Justice. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, they're way more. Okay, so what I was gonna say is the Faction Aja comic is one of my favorites. It was right after New 52, and they put that out like separate when New 52 is doing all this stuff. Faction and not New 52. Sorry, Marvel Now. Sorry, I'm getting the two mixed up. When they were doing Marvel Now, Faction Aja is like, hey, this has nothing to do with Marvel Now. Can we just do a comic book? In the first page of the Hawkeye Faction Aja comic book is the mock-up of when he's jumping off the building in Avengers, and you see him firing the arrow as he's falling off the skyscraper, and he's like, hi, I'm Hawkeye. When I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. The fact they started this show with Kate witnessing that actual frame that they referenced in the comic, yeah. If I wasn't a heartless fucking nihilist, I would cry. I would have. That was such a good touch. And it showed me right away, hey, we do know the comics. We're not just going to have a Russian guy say, bro. We actually will honor the comic. It's not just a dumb Easter egg. And I was like, here we go. Mm-hmm. So that's it. I want to get to the first scene. I was fucking sold.
I gotta say, I was really excited. This was the show I was most excited for, I think. Just even before they said that they were going to be pulling a lot from the Fraction run, because I was saying that even though that's a great run, Hawkeye is such a character has so much untapped potential, and bringing in Kate, who is just an amazing character to her own right, was always something I was really, really excited about. And this show, it delivered. I think. I don't think it was like the strongest of the Marvel premieres so far, but I really enjoyed it. And like Haley Steinfeld, a treasure of an actor.
I love her. Ever since True Grit, I'm like this.
Oh
she
my
is
God,
going places. Yeah, I was like, I remember that. I was like, dude, watch her in 10 years.
Bro.
And
It's been 10 years.
Can we all agree she's the best human character in any Transformers movie?
She's in one of those, huh?
What?
They put
Man,
Haley Steinfeld in one of
I
those.
thought we found a Transformer. What? This could really help my family. I'm an inventor.
Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf, actually. Running through the woods, Shia LaBeouf. Brandishing a knife, Shia LaBeouf.
Remember when Stanley Tucci was Merlin and he wasn't related to the other character he played in the Transformers movies?
No, I didn't make it that far.
I only made it into the fourth one.
I think I only actually cared enough to watch like 2 of those, and then I got drunk and just roasted us watch like the other couple. I got wasted just like, look at this crap. Just a couple sorry, is it one Transformers story and then we're done. A couple All Night Taco stands ago, somebody wanted me to put Optimus Prime ripping out another freaking guy's like heart as a kill for my kill thing. It was like highly sold to me, like, no, it's one of my favorite kills. I'm like, it's a car killing a car. I don't care.
I'm curious who that was.
Just a guy from my work. I call him Sexy Kevin. He's really sexy. I call him sexy.
I thought it might have been one of the people we all know.
No, one of my real friends.
Wow. Dick. So, Ben, what did you think of Hawkeye?
Ben or 50? 50 hasn't talked yet. There you go.
50, you talk.
Hi, I'm still here.
Sorry, my mic covers up your frame of the thing. So I actually forgot you were there. There you are. There he is.
So what did you think of those show, 50?
I like it. Taco, since you're the expert on this,
Never said that.
I said it. That's why you know it's untrue. That run you're referencing, is that the one where the first issue and a half-ish is all about the Hurricane Sandy?
No. Yes and no. Yes, that's in the comic. It's not the first issue and a half. That was like 2 years down the line. The comic was already out. And then they stopped all the arcs they were doing to show Kate in high society deal with the hurricane and Clint helping out a neighbor move all of his stuff out. And then out of his basement and everything flooding. So it did show Hurricane Sandy in the not forward, but the ending, the prologue, or it was a note from the editor or author at the end, and that was the most powerful because he talked about how much of his night and how bad his night was. He wrote in as Hawkeye, and it was it. I remember where I was. I was at work reading it, much to my boss's chagrin, and it was one of the most powerful comics I've ever read. It really was, and it wasn't a crossover event. You know, it was a random, unnamed issue of freaking Hawkeye. I love that book.
Yeah.
That's the freaking simple question, man. I was going to say, okay, so I did read it. And then he just went on and on and on. And didn't have the heart to stop you.
Wait, so am I the pot or the kettle in this situation?
You're Taco. You're a category onto yourself.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, you're also, me and you are the same when it comes to our 30-word yes or no answers, okay? So don't give me shit.
So I have a question.
Read the room, man. I know when to answer a long question and when to answer a short question.
I'm really passionate about this comic, and I thought it would. I don't know. I thought it's a really important moment, and that's why I gave as much detail as I did. So that's why I did what I did. 50. Love you.
Anyway, I got my answer. Yes, I did read the comic, and I remember not liking it at first initially, but I love this show, the first 2 episodes, and I love how much I'm re-experiencing the comic itself in a new light. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. That's it. That's it.
Now,
And
I'll go back to shutting up now.
I have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I love this. I love these 2 episodes. One of the things I love most about the MCU shows, each show has a different flavor, and I love the lighter, more familiar aspect to this one that we're getting. Is that accurate to the comic book? Or is that more
Well, like,
gritty?
no, they have a very different relationship because Hawkeye is not this in the comics. Hawkeye is much more of like kind of at the time of that run, he was much more of a joke, and a lot of the comic is Kate like it's saying you got to do more with it, kind of in terms of with like the branding conversation, like you got to do more with Hawkeye as a thing. So there is more. He definitely takes on a father role because in the comic, obviously diverging already, where Kate's dad is like a very low level criminal in Marvel, but here he got blowed up by the Chitauri allegedly.
Yeah.
So it theme wise, kinda is probably the best answer.
Okay.
I do want us to get into the show. Can I say one more thing about the comic, and then we can
sure.
move on? And
we haven't talked at all yet, so sure.
Yeah, I know. If there are Easter eggs here and there, we can bring something up. I know we will when we talk about Swordsman, but spoilers. But spoilers for a future episode. But I think what's really special, and the Hawkeye and the Kate Bishop in the comics at the beginning of the comic, like setting up the comic, the background is so different from this Kate Bishop and this Hawkeye, because Kate Bishop was already established. She was already a superhero in the universe. And then Hawkeye was hanging out with her like buddies at work. Like she just came over and was bullshit with him. They didn't even explain why. They were just hanging out because they're both Hawkeyes. And he doesn't have kids in the comic. He doesn't have a wife in the comic. He's living in a
shitty dude.
Yeah, he's kind of a random New Yorker who gets paid like minimum wage. And he lives in a really crappy apartment. His girlfriends, who are like Spider-Woman and all these amazing heroes, don't want anything to do with him because he's kind of a mess. And that is so different of a setup. But the show jumped over the right hurdles to introduce us to the Sweatsuit Mafia, to introduce us to Pizza Dog, to bring us into this world where I feel like we're almost there, but with none of the prep work, which is actually really great. It's really admirable.
What do you mean none of the prep work? Right after we get the 2012 flashback, we get this cool motion graphic, which gives us Kate's entire history. We got all that set up, and we've seen the Marvel movies. There's tons of setup.
I remember that's one of the things I didn't like about the comic when I read it at first. That the fact that they made Hawkeye this trashy dude.
What's kind of he's always been trash.
Yeah. I mean,
that was my first Hawkeye comic, but still.
Oh.
He usually did. They did like James Bondy type stuff with him, and it just never worked. That's why I'm really glad they went like he's an average schmuck who's an extremely talented bastard. Like I liked that.
Okay.
We can talk about the show.
Can we? So obviously we don't need to go like scene by scene, because if you're watching this on Schmoes of the North, you've definitely watched the show. So if we just want to talk about like overall thoughts and like if there's anything specific that we want to talk about, I think that'd be great. I'll start us off. How do you guys feel about like the insert no music flashbacks that Hawkeye's doing when he's like, oh my God, remember Vormir? Oh my God, remember when I was Ronin? Oh my God. Remember when I got blowed up all those times? Oh my God.
Now I have a hearing aid.
I actually love that.
Yeah,
it's like he's doing it for like, we have to imagine like we pick his career up in 2010 with Thor, and then like and this show would take place in like 2024, and you got to imagine he's got like 8 years of or whatever from beforehand. So he's been getting exploded for almost 30 years. Like there's so much years
and of course there was time when he was just an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. before that. Like I like to look at Black Widow and Hawkeye of something when it comes to the MCU of the characters that have all this backstory we don't know. You know, and I love that. Like you just assume there's 30 missions that you've never heard of where they're taking down, you know, all this crazy gangsters. And
no, I think it's pretty clear from the movies. They went to Budapest that one time and that was it.
Yeah, I just watched Black Widow today. What she did in Budapest, I'm appalled.
Well, she didn't do anything. She blew up one building. No one died.
Well, yeah, you're right. Actually, I don't remember anyone. Actually, you're right. I don't think anyone died in it. Now that
everyone got out of there.
All right. Well, she thought she was killing a little kid,
Fair.
Even though she didn't. That's not her bad. She still blew up a little kid,
but
she didn't purposely save her.
So my question though, how do you guys feel about the flashbacks and stuff? Because every time they flashed back, I was like, I like that we're doing this. I just hate the style in which we're doing them.
The silent in their head, like.
Well, no way.
I actually like the silence in the head.
Yeah, me too. That's what
I think it's like put like a little like I don't know sepia tone filter over the flashbacks and stuff. So it's not like, oh my god, did my Disney Plus just freak out? Am I watching Endgame now?
Well, here's the thing. I like the flashback and I like the motif they're using. Because I think if they did any other motif, if they set it up any other way, you could easily compare one movie to Arrow. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was a purposely thing they did or not, but Arrow covered flashbacks to the T, and they got tiring after a while.
Yeah.
I like this style way better for me. Personally.
I just wanted to be like, I thought it was weird. It's like put some music. I just would like just a little like music underneath it, and like just like maybe a little bloom effect.
Familiar face.
I want the 50 edit of the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye where it's that singing over the flash.
Just a lot of what was his name? Gary Jules. Just a lot of Gary Jules.
No, it's 50 singing the song.
Oh, just 50s versions of Gary Jules songs? How come we don't have that?
But also something I really like is how much the show focused on Kate and gave her time.
Well,
I was coming into it. Yeah, but that was my worry though, because like it's so easy to say Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, he is the person that people know. We're going to spend a lot of time with him, and Kate will come in. But, like, she gets the lion's share of both episodes, and I think that's really cool.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad they did that because Kate is the person we don't know. And Kate, like I said, she doesn't have her character is so much more than her power because she doesn't have any. And it's so much more than her epic superhero backstory because she doesn't have one. In the comic, she shows up like she's like the rich chick who's just there in the first one. And in the second one, she's just taking people down with arrows. And she's wearing Hawkeye stuff because they're at the Avengers Mansion. I want to believe it's been like 15 years. And this is in Young Avengers. Yeah, Young Avengers.
Yeah, she gets Hawkeye's bow, Mockingbird's like suit, and it's like a mixed match of like 4 different people.
But her only origin is she goes, well, I grew up rich in a prep school, and we did a lot of freaking marksman training. And that's all she said. She's like, I'm a country club kid. And that's not a superhero backstory. And that's what I love about the character is she's such an adverse. She doesn't have the Uncle Ben moment. She doesn't have the radiated spider. And that's why I love Kate Bishop, because now all we have is her as a person. And I love her as a person. And I'm glad we're doing that.
So do you think they're showing too much of her?
No, I think we need to introduce her as a person for the audience. 100%. And I mean, comics are not TV. You can't do the entire run of Young Avengers with one line about a character's backstory who's beating people up. You just can't do that. So you do have to introduce people the way they are, and I'm glad they are. There is a lot of there's a lot of really good here, and especially I don't know, world building. I know we don't want to go scene by scene, but what are your guys when like episode 1 ended? What was everyone's thoughts on episode 1?
I loved episode 1. One of my first thoughts is I got to buy a ticket to see Rogers the Musical. Now that looked really fun to watch.
Can we talk about that for a second?
The musical?
Yeah, because in the trailer it was Avengers the Musical, and in the show it was just Rogers the Musical.
No, it was always Rogers.
I don't remember it in the trailers. So.
I do, because I was specifically looking forward to seeing the Avengers musical. But here's my commentary on that: is that here's how I took it: is that they made the whole thing about Steve Rogers because Captain America is like the big thing, and that is how Clint. That was why Clint was so upset about the musical itself, because he was barely in it. It's like the world remembers Captain America, the world remembers Iron Man and Thor and Hulk, and even in the just going by the reactions from the first Avengers movie in our real world, people barely were talking about Hawkeye. So that's why I appreciated that moment in the musical, and yeah.
I also love the Ant-Man was there. He's like,
I
wasn't even there.
He wasn't in there.
I love that mostly because it's a callback to the very first fan theory from back when Edgar Wright was directing Ant-Man. Everyone said, yeah, Ant-Man was in the first Avengers. He was just teeny tiny and helping out. Essentially giving him people were saying that before, essentially what the Ancient One didn't, we saw her doing in Endgame. People were like, yeah, Ant-Man was doing that, but in Avengers. But he was teeny tiny, so you didn't see him.
And it was Hank Pym, because he had the Hank Pym logo, not Scott Lang.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that too. I was like, that's not even the right Ant-Man.
That's why I'm connecting it to the joke.
That was great. And another thing, here's a small criticism now that I'm thinking about it. Do you think they're doing something with his family there? Because I really thought the reason why it started off with the kids there with him was they were, and then you see like the sons like watching something with the Ronin and like some stuff. And then didn't they just get back on the plane at the end? Like he just sashayed them away. I thought like it was going to lead to something of Hawkeye's kids being there. And I'm pretty sure they're gone already.
No, I think they in the second episode, we see them back with Linda Cardellini making gingerbread houses. So I think what's going to happen...
A dream of mine, by the way, is make gingerbread houses with Linda Cardellini. That is a dream of mine. I've wrote it down.
Isn't it all? Isn't it for all of us?
In the diary.
I think what's happening there is it's more like there's going to be a lot of moments in the series where Clint is like, I shouldn't even be here. Oh my God, I got to get back to my family, but I'm doing, and you're like, yeah, Hawkeye, because that's what heroes do. And I think that's what is, and then when he dies in episode 6, like we're all gonna feel real bad when Kate shows up to Linda Cardellini. Is like, I did all I could, and Linda Cardellini's like, you're Hawkeye now. Da credits.
Wow, that was really
Hawkeye
fun.
what? Hawkeye Skywalker.
I have a question. So, Kate Bishop in the comic has never been called Hot Girl or Arrow Girl or no girl. She's always been Hawkeye. But the reason was because when she started, there wasn't a Hawkeye, so she could be the Hawkeye. but Hawkeye's still around.
Yeah.
What are they going to call her? Would it be weird if I like walked up to you and I'd be, or how about this? If Batman like abducted Robin or whatever he did, and then he's like, "All right, you're going to be my protege. You'll be Batman." You're Batman. Like that's so weird.
Well, I think
He became Batman for a short time, didn't he?
Yeah, but like 8 years later, I'm saying naming your protege your own name is weird.
Now, if I could, I think about that. The thing is, until this show, Clint has never actually been called in canon Hawkeye. And Kate said you have an issue with branding. So it's like maybe it's because the first time we ever heard. Yeah, the only time before the show we heard the word Hawkeye was when he called his daughter Hawkeye at the beginning of Avengers Endgame.
Didn't sorry, 50.
Correction. Linda Cardellini called him Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. Schmodown.
Isn't there a scene in the first Avengers with Steve Rogers?
I don't.
Okay. Isn't there a scene in the first Avengers? Well, let me finish, Dave. Wasn't there a scene in the? I never get to talk on the show. In the first Avengers, when Steve Rogers looks at Clint and goes, "Hey, Hawkeye, smash," or is that someone else?
I'm pretty sure it might be someone else. Yeah.
Okay,
That wasn't worth it.
Well, it wouldn't have been a huge build-up if I didn't get interrupted 3 times. It would have been a tiny little throwaway gag.
No.
That's why you never stop
saving
talking.
Turns out I was saving you. So they're not even trying to hide.
Let me burn my own bridges.
Is the bad guy, right?
Okay, so let's talk about
so obviously the bad guy.
Let's talk about how I wasn't sure if that was Via Formiga until the action. I was like, is that really her? Did they get her? No way they got her. I think it just was an actress who looks like her. And then at the opening credits, I was like, oh my God, they got Via Formiga for this?
Me too.
Crap. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not the only one. I was like, really? They got Sopranos mom?
I think it's...
Wow, God, I miss Dave's internet. I
miss Dave's the best way possible. Yeah. Well, Dave is working on his internet. Ben, I have a question for you. Speaking of actors, the old guy that gets killed, the Armand guy that gets stabbed by the sword he bought.
Armand the Third, yeah.
Yeah. Do you recognize the actor, Ben?
I'm guessing he's a Doctor Who actor.
It's a Doctor Who thing, isn't it?
It's kind of a giveaway, yes, but who?
Who?
It took me a while, but then I was like, oh yeah, that guy.
Who is it?
Charles Dickens.
Oh, no kidding. Interesting.
Yeah.
Charles Dickens is in this? Wow, they get really big name actors now.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, big name writers into the show.
Yeah, there you go. He wrote Great Expectations. It's so crazy they got him into a Marvel movie. They got everybody into these. They got Robert Redford too. Now Charles Dickens.
Man.
I thought the character he played in Doctor Who was some like bee fly hybrid during the classic series, or is that something else?
No, it was Charles Dickens in like the 3rd episode of the. I mean, hey, you asked me. You have all yourself to blame.
I was giving you shit. I brought up the bee fly things. It's okay.
Oh, well, it's a good thing I wasn't listening, because I hardly ever listen to you anyway.
Good. I don't. All I'm gonna do is bring sadness to your house. Yeah, it's a really good thing. Every couple words, I'll only.
There's the picture of the N.O.R.T.H and the banners right now. You better not have that right now.
No, not in this room. In the
Thank
room. Thank you. See, Kiwi got it. Dave, have you met Jess? She's only on every.
You had to help him, didn't you, Dave? You had to help him out.
Yeah, she's got my back, man. She's my right-hand lady. We're close. We're on literally the opposite sides of the planet.
No, I am
very close.
I'm not on a lot of shows these days.
I'm right in the middle somehow.
Yeah, of course you haven't met her because she's been on every single taco stand, and you haven't been on one of them.
Every single show
Well,
almost.
stop doing it. Okay, we're talking about Hawkeye,
No.
guys. Oh,
Ben
Oh,
Bacon has been on more taco
Pentagon.
stands than you have, Dave.
So I have a question. How do we think Kate's dad is actually dead?
You think Armand's actually dead?
No, do we think Kate's
Kate's
dad?
dad.
Yeah. I hope. I don't
Yeah.
like fake deaths as good. The last thing I want in this character, because this is what Kate Bishop never was, and this might actually, to go back to what Dave's thinking about Via Formiga being a bad guy, I don't like her backstory being brought up into I don't want some destiny thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't want her to be destined to be a hero. I want Kate Bishop to be a hero because she's a badass and she wants to save people. And I'm tired of Peter Parker finding out that his parents are secretly into spiders and shit. And that's what I don't want on this. And maybe if Via Formiga's a bad guy, that's one thing, but I don't want it you were always going to be one. I don't want any destiny freaking prophecy.
You were born with a bow and arrow in your hand.
Yeah, we were drinking bow and arrow potions when you were in the baby or whatever. In the baby. Wow,
I think
in the tummy.
that,
I mean, you're joking, but that's
in the
true.
tummy.
I don't think there's a narrative reason to bring him back at all.
Yeah.
Except to give her the motivation
also
to be who she
that
is.
He looks like 8 actors, I know.
That actor's a nutty. It's not like Killed Via Farmiga in the first episode. There was a moment when I'm already forgetting his name. Tony Dalton, help me out, Jacques. When he
Jack.
showed up, and there
Thank
was
you
a
very
moment
much,
where I
Jack.
was like, where I was like, is that the same guy? But with a mustache?
That's how forgettable the dad is. You see the dad die, and they go to his funeral, and you're like, is that the dad again? That's not forgettable.
Well,
No wonder why Via Formiga moved on.
No, but it was things where I definitely think the dad's probably dead because you need the Uncle Ben moment. And also I think, again, to my point, before my internet decides to be shitty again. My point about I think they're not going to bring up Kate's mom being a vampire like at 616. But I think they will. I think they're
Kate's mom's
doing
a vampire
loosely
in
the
616?
Ultimates, where. Yeah, look it up.
I don't remember that shit at all. All right, moving on. Yeah, I don't remember that shit at all. Fuck what I said about her having no interesting backstory.
Yeah, but in the Ultimates, it's not. Here's the thing: it's not interesting. It's bad. But in Ultimates. In Ultimates, Kate's mom and dad are both agents of Hydra, and I think that they're pulling on to give Vera Farmiga. I think eventually we'll find out that Vera Farmiga is in charge of the Bro Army, the tracksuit mafia, because it's she's wearing the brightest red dress. And then guys in red jumpsuits show up, and it's that's visual storytelling right there.
And that's why I'm pushing for her to be Madame Mask. I really do, because that's a great C-level villain that they do deal with in Hawkeye in the comic book, and they've never have they used Madame Mask in anything? They might have.
Agent Carter season 2.
Oh, Agent Carter used Madame Mask. Damn Agent Carter! Why are you using good stuff?
Wait,
Agent Carter happened in the 40s,
Madame
right?
Mask has met. It wasn't a very faithful adaptation. They could still use her, like they did with the Mandarin.
Yeah. Well, you know who I'm still sad that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stole is Absorbing Man. We're never going to get a good Absorbing Man because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wanted to use him in 2 episodes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know,
canon.
I'm saying it's not? It's not canon?
No.
I'm not. That's news
Season
to me.
8, they go to a parallel dimension.
They acted like it was
reset
canon,
their
but
entire timelines.
It's canon for a while.
Not anymore.
And the book that they were using in WandaVision is a different evil book from the one they were using in S.H.I.E.L.D.
yeah, Ghost Rider took it to another dimension, and somehow it's in WandaVision.
Sorry. I
It's
stopped watching
legends.
that.
It's legends now.
Oh, so do I. I only know through a friend who watches. But no, Agents
I
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
did
is canon the same way that like Daredevil and Jessica Jones are canon.
Oh no!
I thought you were
oh,
going to
no.
say a Star Wars thing.
Which
I
means
was
you
like,
can
what?
still use David Tennant for something.
Oh no! I don't know if anything confirmed or not. There are rumors that Kingpin is going to show up in Hawkeye.
I would love it. Well, I don't want him in
Me
Hawkeye.
too.
I want him in
I would-
Spider-Man, but a Spider-Man.
I don't think in
They
Hawkeye.
still need a
I
sixth
think
member
in,
of the
and,
Sinister
you know,
Six.
I think
More
in
like
the
the first.
I think in the Echo trailer or in the Echo series is when we'll get Kingpin.
Oh yeah.
And like we see her, so you know it's relevant to talking about Hawkeye to talk about Echo.
Okay, let's bring up some stuff for the show. I do like how much they brought in Ronan, and I like how they were able to bring Kate in as like a Hawkeye type thing, which is Ronan. How did you guys feel about a 22-year-old
How-
person, a Haley Steinfeld being up a bunch of Russians? I just want to know. Do you have to suspend disbelief a little? Because I kind of do. I'm sorry.
I'm okay with it because
No,
they said she
because-
was
Because they
I'm-
what?
Sorry.
because they said she was a black belt.
Yeah, but I mean, my cousin or my nephew's a black belt, but I still have 100 pounds over him. I can just sit on him. Like, I mean, size matters in
But
stuff.
let me ask you this, Taco. Let me ask you this. Does your black belted nephew have 250,000 trophies?
Well, he's not a black
archery?
belt. I was using it as a joke. I think the kid quit when he was like 6, and he's like 13 now. But the point I have is size and strength. It does go a certain way, but like if you know, like I think I don't know. I said I had to suspend it a little bit. Like her throwing
you're saying-
people.
She doesn't go through them like paper.
You're right. She
Yeah.
doesn't. You're right. And also,
And
she
also-
takes.
That gets
like-
them good.
It's more of the hits that she gets up from. Less hit her beating them up, but more of her getting like thrown around. And she's like, oh,
Maybe there's some hidden armor in the suit.
maybe you're right. Okay, and also
Yeah, the
she is
Ronin
banged up
thing
later.
And
There was
I will say
one-
also, I loved. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, I just wanted to bring up the one lumping scene. When he goes to do lumping to get the suit back in episode
That's
2.
episode 2, I think.
yeah, that's episode 2. We can talk about episode 2. I felt like,
We're gonna
as
have
me
to
and
because-
Dave were saying, because we're at 40 minutes and I gotta do stuff. I gotta prep for Thanksgiving tonight. I still gotta get my bird ready,
There's
man.
another show on it.
Soon.
There's
Yeah.
another show on this channel starting in 15 minutes.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was more saying, I love that Hawkeye, Clint Barton is Hawkeye, but he has another secret identity because I had never put together that's like, oh yeah, nobody knows who the Ronin is until they're like,
Me too.
the identity of the masked vigilante is still unknown. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
I like that too.
And adds another dimension to it. And yeah.
I
Also, if we can just talk, we've talked a lot about Kate, but if we can just like talk about Clint for a second. I love all the stuff that he does in this show. Like even when he goes and Stolen Valor, he pretends to be a fireman. He goes in there. It's like you can't do that. To do everything and like all his like wheeling and dealing with the LARPer and him being like, "Oh my God, you're Hawkeye!" Like, I love that.
I like that they're purposely not making him that cool. Because, he's never really, like, he doesn't seem like, he doesn't have, I love Hawkeye, and this is, if anything, I'm saying, I like how Jeremy Renner is playing it. He plays him with such little, like, charisma, like, hey, like, he doesn't work a room. Like, he can't. He's like, no, suit, come on. Like, suit. And he's like, let's fight. He's like, oh, okay. like he doesn't. Yeah.
This is even more than in Age of Ultron when we spent a long time with his family. With his family gone, this is the most like a dad Jeremy Renner has ever felt. Like no, you are gonna stay here. Oh my god, you cleaned your wound wrong. Oh my god, you are the worst at this.
Are we gonna go get superhero stuff? Yeah, sure. It's your Neosporin and shit.
Yeah. Wait, like, okay, so I'm Canadian, so I don't know how you guys do it in America, but
Super
like,
Canadian.
can you guys just carry around bow and arrow in like in a convenience store? Like, can't just brandishing?
Okay, I almost made a joke. It depends on. It depends on who you are. Let's just say that. There are certain people who can walk around with guns, and there are certain people who cannot move their arms too fast. I'm just saying.
Oh god.
Yes.
We're going to get canceled.
No, I'm just saying that there's a giant double standard, and maybe the rich white lady could carry around the bow and arrow. But let's just say if Night Thrasher was in the show, he wouldn't have gotten away with it. Okay.
Can I also ask about the show? And this may be like the smallest dumb thing. Are flip phones back? Because both Clint and Kate have flip phones.
I mean,
I think it's a burning phone.
Maybe there was
no,
maybe there was like
phone.
No, there was like 5 years where there was 5 years where half the nerds in Silicon Valley were blinked out of existence, man. They're a little behind. I don't know. That's my only guess.
Because like so jarring to me, where when Kate asks for Clint's phone, or it's like, hey, or Clint her the phone to be like only agencies, and he like what? What?
I do want to say a couple things before we do move on. I love the introduction of the Tracksuit Mafia, and I love how they're doing the bros, because I actually forgot about that from the comic. I remember the Tracksuit Mafia, and then it was like, hey bro, hey come on bro. I was like, yeah, they ended every sentence with bro. Like I remembered that from the comic. I love that, and the ending, I'm really like, how are they gonna get out of this pickle, kids? Like, I'm feeling that of like her just falling in front of them. Like you hear like, and you're ready for her to like Deus Ex Machina start taking guys out, and she just falls on her face. I laughed and I was like, now we're doing it. I like it.
I also like that they didn't give her the Deus Ex Machina. She swoops in and saves Hawkeye's life and kills everybody.
Yeah.
It makes it more realistic.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I love that they didn't, because I thought they were going to.
For lack of a better word, I'm happy, and Ben is going to get that reference, but I'm happy that there was no Clara Oswalding in this show, which is something I didn't like about the comic book, which that term didn't exist, but still, I like that they didn't have to downplay Hawkeye to elevate Kate. That no, he's a teacher type role for her, especially in the second episode.
Nicely done on the snipping that in 50. Nicely done.
I've been waiting
you just had to say the word Carla, whatever her name is, Clara. I
mean, you started with the N.O.R.T.H, so don't.
Both are capable.
I didn't say anything.
No, it was me. It was me.
I was pointing at this guy.
We got two nerds who got to talk about wrestling here soon, so we should wrap this up. Now, this is one of many of these that we're going to be doing every episode that comes out. I won't be able to make every one of them, but I know Dave and Ben are planning on it, and I think 50's going to think he can make them all. I mean, if you could just do it from work. That's why I won't be able to do it half these, so.
We're going. Somebody will be here every week to talk about their show.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I was able to be on for this week.
Now,
I got really lucky today.
Can we just in summation like as quick as you can, and I'm talking to myself here.
Doing these solo, if my StreamYard decides he can't keep up.
No, the funny thing is he'll be on the show, just no one will be able to hear you until the end, and you're going to be saying hello. It's going to be an hour later, that lag. It's like, hey, Dave, how are you doing? And then an hour later, you're going to hear, do good, Ben. He'll be halfway through the review. See, he's making a comeback right now, but you're not going to hear it until we're done. There you go.
Yeah.
I want to give like an summation how you felt about these first two episodes and how excited you are.
I'm really excited about where the show is going. This isn't my favorite premiere of the MCU shows. For that, right now, it's now WandaVision. I love WandaVision.
Yeah, very strong. I like WandaVision a lot.
But, yeah, really strong team premieres, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Don't you see the red mark on his forehead? All right. Hey, Dave, looking good.
So too, Soda. I thought so too.
To go off what Ben said, I'm really excited for where they're going, and it didn't have the same. Maybe it's on purpose though. It didn't have the same oomph of the first episode. The way that like WandaVision made it be like, why are we in Lucy Liu land? And like, what the frick's going on? Mm-hmm. And then, it really grabbed me. Like,
Lucy. If it was Lucy Liu, it was a completely different show.
Lucy Lawless. Yeah, you're right.
No, I
am Lucy Lawless. Lucy Lawless is the actress who played. No, we're not. Oh my God, Lucy Lawless. Oh my God, where am I? There's a lot of hot Lucys.
There's too much weirdness in that brain of yours. I'm sorry.
Lucy Ball. I got too many Lucys up here. Okay. But no, all right. The point I was trying to make is I don't think this show's gonna try to grab you the way that those ones did. I do think that we got a little bit of a slow burn, and it's gonna have a little bit of a Christmas thing going on. I mean, the main bad guys, or at least part of them, are freaking mobsters with broken English who wear tracksuits. It's not your big, change the entire landscape show, and that's what I want in this. That's exactly why I'm here. And
it doesn't need to be that grandiose.
No.
Alternate timelines and changing reality in the TV shows.
Timey-wimey.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
And I will say that I am I love how I was blown away by the other three shows' premieres. And this premiere, I was just like, that was really good. It wasn't great, but it was really good. And I think that means that it says good things for the rest, because I think all three of the other shows ended.
Yeah.
This one, at least it's setting a good line from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite premiere, but it's also not my least favorite. So I think they're doing a good job on this show. It's kind of sad to me that it's the shortest, I believe, out of the 4 we got so far. But
it was still 50 minutes.
No, the episode volumes. I think.
I think a lot of this is comic bias because I didn't feel that way. I felt very hooked, and I'm ready to go. And maybe it's just because, like I said, the first scene made me like, oh my God, that's a reference to the first frame of the comic. Here we go. And it really took me in. Yeah. I really like Kate, like watching Hawkeye. The first scene kind of really hooked me hard. Like, of her seeing Hawkeye save people, knowing he's the only just normal human out there besides Black Widow, but a normal human out there with gods and so on and so forth. I really hooked me. And maybe I'm in the minority of not feeling the way you guys are, clearly, because 3 out of the 4 said, hey, it wasn't the strongest, but I was freaking hooked.
It was still good. It's just WandaVision just really blew me away. I'm sorry.
It blew me away.
I'm one of the people who actually liked that premiere.
I love that premiere.
I was hooked. I didn't like WandaVision a little bit more, but I was hooked.
Yeah.
Well, I think is that basically it for this week, boys?
Yeah, I think we should get out of here. We have a lot of show to talk about later on. We just have 2 good episodes, and yeah, I loved it. I can't wait to see a sword fight where the guy's not holding back, because it's coming. You're gonna see Jack/Jock from the comics really show you why his name's Swordman in the comics. Spoilers. But, I mean, the first thing they did with him was, where's all the swords? And then the guy with the mustache come out. You know he's swordsman.
Sword.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend money buying a retractable sword. I'm going to kill my uncle with a sword.
I swear, if he twirls his mustache at all, I'm going to freaking lose my mind. If he goes,
Me too. All right, who has stuff to plug? 50, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. You can find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. Okay. I started mostly weekly streaming on Twitch. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond on 50 Shades of Geek. Occasionally, I pop into all these shows, recapping the greatest show in the galaxy with Ben, Jess, and Soda. Get Sweaty on Saturdays. Much more on Shooting the Breeze, and let's talk about Star Wars whenever they allow me in. And I also have a Patreon where I design a Pokemon game based on Israel. It's called Pokemon Star, Cross, and Crescent.
Nice.
You want to plug that?
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of in the middle of my break from work to work. Ironically, this is the show that Wednesdays is like, when I have Wednesdays off is when I normally don't do weekend shows, so it's like a way I can actually do a show every week. But I won't be on any of our there's no Schmodown stuff, so never mind. There's nothing to plug there. I'll see you guys. I will be as all over as I can on for the Spectacular. I believe me and Ben, if not more people, will be doing a preview the night before the Spectacular. If we can't do one then, I'm doing one in the morning. Okay, I took that entire day off from being a dad. I have a babysitter, and I will be doing as much as I can that day. I'm so excited for the Spectacular. Also, on December, I want to say 16th, it's the first time you're hearing about this. I am doing the next All Night Taco Stand will be December 16th, and I can't wait. It's gonna be a good one. Probably not as explosive as last time. I'm gonna try to stay away from the 9 people on screen. As much as I loved that amazingness, I think we should try to keep this one a little more chill. But it was fun. I'm glad we had one like that. And on December 29th, we are coming back with the Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars. And
it was
rumor has it. Yes, it was. Rumor has it we have 4 really big Star Wars competitors playing a Schmodown-esque trivia match that it will be the Star Wars Holiday Special. We're now working. It's in the works. I got some really big names I'm not going to say until we know for sure. But 50 has talked to 3, and himself included, so 4 big competitors who are very interested in doing a Star Wars Holiday Special trivia match on Let's Talk About Star Wars on the 29th. So I'm very excited about that, and that's what I have to plug.
First I've heard of it.
It was today. We're still working on it.
You said I talked to some of them. I don't know. I don't remember doing that.
You're not a Star Wars competitor.
You said 50 has talked to 2 of the 3 of them.
Oh my God. Why do I get you and Gold Leader and Frenchie mixed up?
Why?
Because you guys don't have real freaking names. Coming from Guy named Taco, but still.
I'm not that good of a person. Don't confuse me with Gold Leader.
Okay, Dave, do you want to plug that?
Yeah, he makes all the thumbnails.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to plug it for him?
I'm sure my internet is working, but if it is, subscribe to me on
like and subscribe to the Schmoes of the North. Dave will
in
be
the private chat. Don't come to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that until the end. That's why I took over right when I read it. Like and subscribe to Schmoes of the North. David's all over the place here. He makes all of our thumbnails, and sadly, he can't be on every show, and I wish he was. For the rest of the crew, Thanks for
Wait,
watching, guys.
Whoa. I didn't plug.
I don't.
What am I?
Chopped
You
liver?
know-
Kinda.
Yeah,
What's wrong with chopped
maybe.
liver?
Although I am on, nothing. You can find me at @Ben_radio. I'm on kind of pretty much every day right now. All over. We'll be back next week with the Ancients of North recap show. Until then, stay ready, have a good one, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.